Working on the business or working in the business? Working on your life or just living your life? So often you get stuck in one or the other. It's like two different hats you have to wear with different responsibilities, different roles. That's what I love about business and how much it can transfer into other areas of your life. So the saying was initially popularized and still holds true to this day. How often do we get wrapped up just in the flow of things, in the day-to-day, just focused on what the next task is, the next step, versus taking a step back to look at the whole picture. Look how far you've climbed up the mountain, how much further left you have to go. This is what I like to do when the path forward seems pretty overwhelming and you don't really know what your next steps are. Is anything going to work out for you? Is to take a step back and to look at your overall plan, your overall strategy. And this is the equivalent to working on the business or working on your life versus just living it or working in the business. So the key differentiation between working on something and working in something is essentially, are you involved in the day-to-day task of what you're doing? Like, are you just doing the tasks required? Or are you just in the thing? You just can't see around, like you get like that tunnel vision, like blinders on, and you're just head down, just focused on the next step. And this is good and bad at times, right? Depending what your goal is, but it is quite useful. I was thinking about this when going for a walk today, and I remember this advice for racing, for like cross country and like anything long distance, is you always want to keep your head down and just look at the next step ahead rather than look at the distance of how much farther you have to run. And in just focusing on that next step, you just keep focusing on just one more step. And then this way you're able to run, like 5K, 10K, or however long races you guys are doing. But interesting analogy, how we often need to break things down into the smallest possible steps to make it seem more achievable. And I think this is a great way personally, because if you look at the top of the mountain and you're just constantly focused on how far you are away from the top, right? The summit, which is obviously an analogy for where you want to get to, your goal destination. It is quite easy to lose hope and to succumb to the self-doubt, right? That will start to creep up inevitably. So working on the business or working in it. I've noticed this for content creation, most recently for making these YouTube videos. Since I'm making a YouTube video every day, it takes up a lot of your bandwidth. You're doing your main work during the day, and then, your side thing that you're trying to maybe eventually turn into a main thing. But you're spending, the couple hours a day to make sure it gets done every single day, no matter what. And yeah, sometimes you want to zoom out and like see how far you want to, or how far you are from these different milestones that we tell ourselves we need to be able to get to these to make it worthwhile, or why are we doing it? So for me, that could be, get X amount of subscribers. And it's so easy to fall into this trap of trying to set a goal that is out of your control when you already have the original plan, which is good enough, right? It's not just good enough, it is exactly what you need to be doing, which is just focusing on the inputs, right? I can't control how many people are going to subscribe. I can just focus on the inputs of just doing one video a day, every day, right? Just like you can only focus on taking action a couple hours or a little bit of momentum forward on your main thing every single day. But this is the equivalent working in the business or working on your life, right? Working in your life, which needs to happen. And it's good because when you have these goals, you are able to just think of that next step, that video every single day, or that workout every day. That becomes your next steps. You're not thinking about, oh, how am I going to get to my dream physique? It seems so far away, like it's not going to work for me. Or how am I going to get to X amount of subscribers or make X amount of money from my business? You're just focusing on the next step. Have I sent out the amount of outreach I said I would today? Have I done the workout or tracked my calories every day like I said I would? Have I posted the video today like I said I would? Which is the most important thing, but it's not enough. It's like the saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But in reality, you have to work hard and work smart, because there's someone else with the amount of following that you want, or the amount of money you want to make a month in their business, or the physique that you want. And they've done both. They've worked hard and worked smart. So inevitably, you're going to have to do both. Taking that next step, working in the business, focusing on goals that are in your control to do every single day. This is the working hard part. This is obviously very important. It's the consistency that's going to make it hard for you to fail if you don't stop. The hard part is not stopping on top of doing it every single day, right? The extra hard part, if you will. What does working smart mean towards this? Working on the business, working on ourselves, rather just doing the next step and just living, right? Well, this could be the smart part of the equation, I suppose, where you zoom out a little bit and take a wide angled lens, a wide angled view of the entire situation, the overarching strategy. So once you have the data, and this is why it's very important to track everything. I talked about this in another video, is what doesn't get tracked doesn't get improved. You need to be able to measure, see what you can do better, what to change, what's working, what's not working. And oftentimes we neglect this because we're so focused on the day-to-day, and it feels so hard to just do the thing every single day that we neglect the smart part, the looking out and focusing on what we need to do on a macro level, where we need to steer the ship, right? We have the ship going in the right direction to get to our goal, right? Where we want to go by taking the action of just doing the same thing every day to get closer. The zoomed out portion, right? The working on it is basically the direction of how fast you're going to get there. Like if I just post terrible content every single day, which I mean, it's up to you guys to decide. I think it's getting a little better and I'm trying to improve. But if I made terrible content every single day, it'd be going like back and forth, doing like an S in the water to get where I want to go. Versus if every single month I make the necessary improvements to get closer to like a perfect straight line. And we know that's very unlikely that we're going to get there completely straight, right? Because there's all these other things, like the waves are going in different directions, the wind's blowing in different directions. So inevitably we're going in like a bit of a squiggly line or like an S. And that's why it's so important to zoom out, to be able to make sure we're course correcting, tacking, if you will, and sailing to get us as close to, the optimal route as possible. What does this look like? Well, it looks like looking at the data and seeing what's working, what's not working, what needs to be improved, what areas feel effortless, what areas feel, a lot more difficult. Are you able to use the Eisenhower Matrix on any of this? This is a really good tool that I like to use, where it's like, what is important and urgent? So this is the things that need to get done right away. What's important but not urgent? These are things that need to get done at some point but not right away. And then what's urgent but not important? These are just like your day-to-day tasks, right? That you need to just get done. Like go to the dentist, right? You can't like skip that per se, even if you had no cavities. And then what's not important, not urgent? These are the things you can get rid of, the noise or things that are not essential to what you're trying to do. And I get it. It's very overwhelming sometimes to zoom out and try to work on your life or work on the business instead of just focusing on the day-to-day. It's easier to get into a rhythm and just keep your head down, just doing the same thing. But you're also taking the slow way and you're not going to get there as fast because you're not working as smart as you could be and, doing it as efficiently as possible. It's kind of like not going to the doctor to get, something checked out because you'd rather just not know than, see exactly what's wrong to figure out how to fix it. Like putting the ostrich's head in the sand, right? That's how a lot of us go about it, where we just think we just keep doing the same thing, it will work out, which obviously there's a lot better chance than if you don't do it, that's for sure. But this is just a reminder that we need to be taking the time, look on the macro level, readjust our strategy, see what's working, what's not working, even when it's overwhelming. And sometimes all we can do is just take that next step forward, that next action, that daily action that we promised ourselves we would do, and that's all you can do sometimes. But don't neglect the macro as well. Things are busy, it's stressful, you got a bunch of other things going on, with work, your personal life. This is inevitable as well. This is just part of the process. Everyone who has what you want has been through the same thing. Don't make excuses. Don't be a victim about it. A victim mentality is the worst thing you can do. It's just a low agency mindset, saying the locus of control is not with you, it's with something else. Something else has power over me doing the thing, me taking a look at the macro and seeing what's working, what's not working. What am I doing wrong? What can I do better, right? Don't use it as a way to just avoid accountability. You guys are better than that. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. And remember, take consistent action your main thing. And don't stop. Peace.